Hi everybody, my name's Doug Wilson and this is Yellowhawk Customs Outdoors YouTube channel. We got a treat for you today. I don't do a lot of reviews, okay? The reason I don't is because there are a zillion reviewers on YouTube that are reviewing all the hottest, latest, greatest knives and gear, right? So what I do is I review gear that I believe in, that I know is a bomb in the field. You get what I'm saying? So gear that I am very comfortable with recommending to other people. So I spend a lot of time in the field and I like my gear, right? So this video, we're going to take a look at two knives from Fobos. For operators, by operators. It's a knife company that was started by Eric Hansen. He's a Fifth Special Forces Group medic. He served on an A team for many years. He's retired now, so he started this knife company. For operators, by operators. So I wanted to take these two knives, the TIER1 and the TIER1 Mini, okay? There they are. There's the TIER1. And the TIER1 Mini. With the sheath systems that I built for these. And I'm going to work with these knives here in the field, and I'm going to give you my 2 cents on these. Basically, they're combat fighter utility knives. All right, and we'll be right back. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a really good look at both of these knives. Okay, here's the sheath system. Now, these sheath systems were built primarily for a photo op, for Fobos, and then they were passed on to a Fobos client who really wanted the knives. Okay, especially the TIER1. All right, so there it is. Here's the knife. Now these will be out rather soon. It is December 2020 now, and Eric tells me that within a month or so these are going to be rolling out. Now that could change. It's just what I'm being told as of, you know, a couple weeks ago. All right, there's that one. Here's the Mini, the sheath system for it. TIER1 Mini. Now, you can look at them. They're both basically the same geometry, only one is smaller than the other one. Okay? Let's take a good gander at them side by side. Okay, so that's a really good look at them. CPM 3V steel is a super steel. It's known as a super steel. And basically these metals start out as a powder, then they're heated into metal, right? And then knives and tools are made from this really strong, really tough, really resilient super steel. Okay, it's called CPM 3V. It's a very popular super steel that's not extremely expensive. Okay, it's actually one of my very favorite steels for knives, right? Okay, let's take a look at the blade real quick. Now this TIER1 has a 6.5 inch, what I call multi-purpose blade. You can do a lot of different things with it. And like I said in some of my other videos, when it comes to the purpose of the design, the purpose of the design really lies in the designer's head, okay? There's nobody on this earth that can tell you the purpose of this knife better than the guy who designed it, okay? So if you're really intent on picking Eric's brain, go ahead and contact him through the website, and he'll tell you everything you need to know about this knife, okay? I'm not an expert in its use. He is. He's the one that designed it. All right. So 6.5 inch blade, 5.5 inch handle. Very comfortable. So let's do this. I'm gonna measure it. Okay. I don't care what the specs say on paper. All right. This is a hair under 1/4 inch. The TIER1 is a hair under 1/4 inch. Okay. The TIER1 Mini has a 4 inch blade and a 4.5 inch handle, and I want to say just over 3/16 inch. Just over 3/16. Pretty good thickness for a smaller version of the TIER1. Okay. It's got a really unique fighter combat utility geometry. The handle is very comfortable. These are textured micarta scales, and you can get different scales for both of these knives, right? He's got oodles and oodles of different types of scales for these. So you would have to get with him. He can customize the knife for you if you want it. You know, say you buy it from DLT Trading, right? And you want some different scales on it. Well, Eric can do that for you in his shop, okay? So this isn't, what you see is not always what you're gonna end up with. You can customize these, okay? This one has green micarta, looks like, with white liners. Textured, but not uncomfortable. This is a very comfortable handle, okay? The spine is not 90 degrees, but the ferro rod notch is. So it strikes a ferro rod very well. I personally don't like using the spine of a knife for striking a ferro rod because I can use it for other things that are more important. However, the ferro rod notch is there for you guys who want a strikeable surface on your knife, okay? The TIER1 Mini does not have a ferro rod notch. However, okay, there is a bushcraft version or versions coming out of the TIER1, okay? I do know that, okay? So I would assume it's going to have a full, well, I'm not going to assume anything. Talk to Eric. He can tell you the specifics of the new TIER1 BC bushcraft, okay? I don't know when that's going to be coming out, okay? Now this is a tumbled finish, pretty durable. I personally don't like high gloss finishes and stuff like that. I like usable knives that I can actually beat up in the field, and that's what you got here. Okay, this is I tell you, this is a tier 1 knife, right? Top of the line, top shelf, combat utility fighter. Very nice knife. Okay, and what I want to do basically is I want to work with these knives in conjunction with the sheath systems, so you can get a good feel of what's going on and what you can achieve with these two knives. Okay, now they will come with a standard leather sheath, and I believe he has a KYDEX guy that's doing a standard KYDEX sheath for both of these knives. Okay, I believe it's Atlas sheaths, and I believe the guy's name is Kevin Wald, right? But if you're looking for something really over the top, super special, then Eric's probably going to send you to me for one of these, okay? Or whatever you want, right? You and I work together, we come up with something that will work well for you in the field, and then we drive on from there, okay? The way Eric has designed this handle, you're able to grip it right across your callus line there, and that gives a really comfortable, secure purchase on the knife, right? Coupled with the fact that even though the handle looks aggressive, right, it's got comfort exactly where it counts. See these chamferings here? Got chamfering where the pinky would be, where the two middle fingers would be, and then your forefinger has a nice chamfered edge there for maximum comfort. When you choke up, it's still comfortable, right? Because the edge here is rounded, all right? So you got good comfort. I've already mentioned you can get different types of scales for these. For the primary bevel, okay, starts off with a flat grind and immediately goes into a convex, okay? So this convex main grind makes for a really strong knife. On top of that, he's got a convex edge as well. Now, this knife came super sharp, okay? I sharpened it to my liking because I want to give you guys a fair and impartial review with a knife that I know has an edge on it that I am very comfortable with. But my edge is not much different than Eric's. Mine's just a little bit thinner, that's all, okay? But the edge that comes with this knife is super sharp, right? And then he's also got this Persian swedge up here that makes it, you know, an incredibly unique piece of combat fighter utility metal, right? Okay, I like that Persian swedge. I love it. Okay, he did a good job with that. Another forward swedge here, and that, you know, that really, among other things, reduces the weight of the knife as well. This is not a heavy knife, okay? It is really a perfect weight for a knife this size. So let's work with these knives. as you can see, the TIER1 has enough heft that you can chop with it. And I like that for a bigger size knife like this. Some people might call this medium size. I call this getting on the larger side. This 6.5-inch blade is not a small blade. You can see what I'm doing here now. I'm making a baton, because we're going to baton some wood with this too. Because I know from personal experience, this thing is a mad batoner. If you've any of you guys friends with me on Facebook, I posted a video a few weeks ago of me batoning through a 7-inch piece of hardwood with this knife. And it had a really hard knot in it, and this thing popped right through it. All right, I'm okay with this. This is a decent baton now. All right, handle still needs to be a little thinner, and the TIER1 has no problem chopping. Now everybody knows that when I got out of the military, I didn't gravitate toward the military side of civilian life. I gravitated more toward bushcraft, survival, because that's my thing. It always has been. Even when I was in special forces, you know, I was the, you know, go-to gear, go-to survival guy. Everybody knew that was where I liked to be. I did a lot of backpacking back then. See that? I mean, for all that chopping, that's pretty good, I think. Look at that. All right. So she's a chopper. So this knife will chop. Okay, so let's take our baton, take our TIER1. Now you can pretty much bet anything this can do, as far as carving and stuff like that, this can do. The blade geometries are basically the same, just this one's a little bit smaller. Okay, this is the TIER1 Mini, the TIER1. Okay, so let me go and get some wood. Now that convex main grind really opens that wood up well. Okay, convex grinds always do really well in a batoning exercise. All right, what I'm talking about. Woo! Right through that knot. Now you saw what I did, right? Now that's a good, you know, 7-inch piece of wood that I just batoned through with a knot, and the blade was not long enough, so I put some of the handle on it, and it split right through there. All right, so even some of the handle went through that. This is a tough knife, guys. I like working with tough knives. I like tough knives in the field. There's nothing better. This is a knife you can bet your life on. And I'm not just saying that with only having a week under my belt with it. I worked with this thing for a whole week straight. Not a whole week, I'm sorry, not a whole week. A whole 4 days straight on a camping trip. So I just kind of repeated that process with that 7-inch piece of wood just now. So I'm okay with that, man. There we go. Now, this is a piece of wood with a huge knot in it. Right through it. That's the power of CPM 3V with a convex grind. Good job, Eric. Edge is still great. No problem. See, this is the kind of knife I don't have a problem with this kind of abuse. No, they're not. Beautiful. Just takes it on the chin. Edge is still great. All right, so that was a good test. Let's do some feather sticking. Ooh, she's a beaut, Clark. Now, these are some pretty fine feathers. These are the types of feathers, you get a bunch of them together, you can strike a ferro rod into them, you get a fire in no time, flat. Nice and wispy. Now I sharpened both of these knives. They both have the very same edge on them. Only the mini is just a little bit smaller. Very nice. choke up a little bit. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Woo, mama. Now, I think Eric did a really, I mean, an outstanding job on these designs. And you know what? How cool is the fact that these are designed by a Green Beret, right? Now, I know firsthand, I have served with some of the toughest special ops guys that the Army has to offer, right? And I am sure that Eric is no different. I have a lot of respect for 18 Deltas. You know, Special Forces medics are like today's physician's assistants, right? PAs. They have the same qualifications. No wonder we call them doc, right? You know, the Special Forces medic, you know, he's on an A team, and everybody calls him doc, right? Because basically, when you're in the field, he's your doctor. So, and he is well versed in how to design a good combat utility fighter. Really a special looking knife. Oh, a couple of special looking knives. The TIER1 and the TIER1 Mini. Coming to a knife store near you. Buy yours now. Anyway, okay. Like I said, this thing comes with an outstanding edge. I just put my little spin on it, but I noticed that my edge that I put on my knives isn't much different than the one Eric puts on it already. His is a convex edge. Just the ones that I put on are just a little bit thinner, have a little bit less of a shoulder, because I like having that, you know, like that really superior slicing ability in a knife. That's just how I am, right? And since it's since it's still a convex grind, it's still really strong, although it slices real well. You get what I'm saying? I mean, if you can slice a piece of wood like that, really good slicing ability. Woo! She's the baby. She's the baby. All right, let's take a look at these sheaths real quick. Now, like I said, the sheaths were built for basically a photo op, and then they were offered to a Fobos client, and he took advantage of it and bought them, along with the TIER1. One thing I want to say about keeping your knives clean before you put them in your sheath. Get all the heavy gunk and dirt and stuff off of it before you put it in your sheath. That'll save you a lot of heartache in the end, okay? Okay, so for this sheath, we got black basket weave. Now this is 0.125 thickness. This is really thick stuff. For a knife like this that is probably going to see combat or really heavy use, then I'm going to go with something pretty thick like this. And then we got On the front, we have a Phoenix EO5 tactical flashlight, which can be used while it's on the sheath, right? So say you got it in cross draw mode, right? You can actually turn this thing on while it's on your belt, get to the desired luminosity, right? Luminosity, and you can use it while it's on your belt. If you have it in dangler mode, say you want to take the Raptor dangler assembly off of this one, right? And you want to put it on this one, you can. Then you got an instant dangler, right? Yes, I can make it in black too. It just happens to be purple. Big deal, right? Okay? And then you got it in dangler mode. You just take the flashlight out, right? Turn it around, and you can use it in dangler mode. Oh, what's that? What's that? What's that? What's that? What's that? All right. Okay. Then you got a side mount ceramic, right? This is a ceramic hone, okay? So this is going to keep this CPM 3V edge nice and honed. Face mount ferro rod. You got a standard compass here. On the back you got Surefire, live fire, which basically if you can't get a fire with this stuff, live fire, you got no business being out in the woods. I mean, it's really easy to get a fire with this. Now on the TIER1 mini sheath, I did put a striker on it, right? You saw me use that earlier in the video. These strikers work really well as long as you got using the right edge off of them. And when I mount it, it's usually got the right edge when it comes out, right? Or you just take it off of there and use it. You can do whatever you want with it. Okay, I just chose to leave it on there because it's easier to use. You just flip it out, use it, and you saw it, right? And there you go. All right. Now this one is in canted cross draw. That means the belt clip is on the mount plate in a canted position. That gets that handle up in the air a little bit, makes it easier to draw. Okay, you can do the same thing with this one too. It just happens to be in Raptor dangler mode right now. Okay. All right, that's it. What do you think, guys? I'm impressed with these two knives. Very impressed. I like CPM 3V. It's a great steel. It holds an edge, and it's not terribly difficult to sharpen in the field, right? It is more difficult than, say, a high carbon steel like 1095 or A2 or 01, but you're not going to get near the performance out of those steels as you will out of CPM 3V once it's sharp. And it holds an edge for quite a while. As long as you don't abuse your knife, you're good to go. All right, guys. All right, man. This is Doug Wilson from Yellow Hawk Customs Outdoors with the TIER1 and the TIER1 Mini. It's a little chilly out here. Now these belong to Donald Rayner, so these got his colors. You know, I made them the way he wanted them. Okay. All right, guys, that's it. I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.